I swear, I promise, I am going to be on my best behavior in this video. And if I get a 9.8, I will not forget to hit the 9.8 button. My name is Jim. This is an unboxing video. 5 modern issues in this box right here. Twice now, I've gotten a 9.8 and forgotten the 9.8 button and the celebration and the party. And so I'm going to do my best to remember this time around. I've started a new video series called Pressing Unboxing right here on YouTube, so you can go back on my YouTube channel and watch those videos, where I open up boxes that my customers have sent me for me to clean and press their issues, look at what people are sending in to get graded, and one of the it's been a really popular video series so far. One of the most popular things on there has been, I do like some tips and tricks, just general hobby tips and tricks, for each of those videos while I'm, opening up the box and stuff like that. So that seems to be a really popular part of it too. So I will, move this back here. While I'm going into this, I'll share the tip and trick from that video from this week. And that was my constant pet peeve at the condition of the bags and boards that I see people use in this hobby. Don't use dirty, filthy, tore up, beat to hell bags and boards. Bags and boards are cheap. Go buy, a big bulk package of bags and boards. You can get 100 of them for like $40 on Amazon. And then my other pet peeve, even bigger than dirty bags and boards, are people that use tape to tape down the flap on their bag. Don't do that. That's a terrible idea. And if you feel like you have to use tape, use painter's tape. The worst thing you can use is Scotch tape or masking tape. You're gonna end up, over time, eventually, you will catch one of your issues on part of that tape when either you're taking out the issue or putting it back in the bag, and you're gonna ruin your issue. I've seen it happen, and not a pretty thing. So check out that video series, Pressing Unboxing videos. All right, 5 slabs in this issue. Let's see here. 2 have a really good shot. 2 have a really good shot at 9.8. If I can remember, we will see the 9.8 button in use. There's 1, 2, 3 first covers. Ooh, and another crack and press result. Not going to see those in every one of my unboxing videos, but I think you're going to start seeing them a lot more frequently or regularly in my unboxing videos. So this was an issue that I owned that was slabbed, where I examined it carefully and determined, you know what, I can crack this out. There are flaws there that I can press and fix and send it back in to be regraded. So we're going to see one of the results of one of those, which I love, and see if I can pop a higher grade. Okay, let's get started with issue number 1. Okay, right in line with where I projected this at. This is Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, and this is the Sports Illustrated 50th anniversary issue. Came out on July 14th, 2003. There are 3 9.8s, there are 3 9.6s, 5 9.4s. Projected this at 9.2. Nailed it. Athletes that appear on covers well after their careers are over aren't nearly as collectible as covers when they were in their playing days. But they still have a certain amount of collectability, and Willie Mays and Mickey Mantle on the same cover, and it's the 50th anniversary issue of Sports Illustrated. I thought this was pretty cool. Something else, with Willie Mays passing recently, there have been a lot of tribute issues out there, not Sports Illustrated related, but some other publications that have put out tribute issues to Willie Mays. And I got a lot of questions when those were on newsstands from people. Hey, is this worth buying? Should I get this? What do you think? Especially the Sport Magazine tribute, which is really kind of a beautiful looking cover. I personally didn't pick any of those up because I couldn't find any in good enough condition on the newsstands. But if you pick one of those up, something like that, my opinion, you really need to make sure it's in condition to where you can get at least a 9.6, if not a 9.8 on something like that. So kind of something to keep in mind. 9.2. SI 50th anniversary, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle on the cover, right in line with my projection. Oh, well, this is interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. So this is, now this will be interesting to see if they did it. So this is something that I will do occasionally when you've heard me be very frustrated about CGC and the way they miss a lot of labeling, variants, first covers, all of that sort of thing. So what I've started doing is sending some supporting information. So this is a first cover that I sent in, and I printed out a sheet that said, hey, look, here's the list of all this guy's covers, and you can see that this is his first cover. It matches. And I sent that in, and interestingly enough, they put it in my bag and board and sent it back to me, which I've never seen them do before. So I'm going to take that as a good sign that they gave me my label request. Oh, here's another one. Interesting. Yeah, here's another one. So these are good signs. These are good signs, people. Good signs. Hopefully, I'll have great things to say about CGC when it comes to slab labels. Next up. That's really weird that I've been doing that for a long time, sending in supporting documentation. Sometimes it's Wikipedia, sometimes it's just, the publication's website or something else that kind of proves what I'm asking. Trying to make it as easy as possible for CGC to do what I'm asking. Hey, here's what I'm asking. Here's proof that what I'm asking is accurate. But I've never seen them send them back to me. They were just printed out, printer paper sheets of websites that I printed. So it's a good sign. We'll see if it comes true. Next up. What? What? I had to see if I was reading that backwards, and that wasn't a 9. Did they put that on there upside down? No, they didn't. That's a 6.0. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Okay. Yeah, I screwed up my projection on this one. Sometimes I do my projections too fast. I projected this in 8.0, came back as a 6.0, and now it's all coming back to me. There are some tears on the back here. I just blew the projection because I was trying to move too fast. Still love this issue. Brett Favre first cover from January 15th, 1996. There are 2 at 9.8. I am happy to say that I do own one of those copies that are graded at 9.8. There are 5 at 9.6. I got one of those too. 8 at 9.4. Like I said, I projected this at 8.0, but I was moving too fast on my projections, and I had forgot that there was some permanent creasing and some tearing on the back that you probably won't be able to see now because it's white. The white part there doesn't show up as well. Still a great issue. Love this. But let's be honest. Brett Favre needs a lot of help with his public image right now. Or maybe he just needs to stop doing stupid crap. So let's go through the laundry list of stuff that Brett Favre has done that has, in my opinion, hurt his collectability because he's just been an idiot through part of his career and then certainly post-career. Let's start off by, he was texting pictures of his crank to female journalists. That happened when he was playing. I think he was with the Jets when that happened, or at least allegedly texting them to female journalists. NFL did an investigation, fined him $50,000. He self-admitted he's been in rehab multiple times for painkillers and for alcohol. His business partners have sued him. He is still actively trying to sue Shannon Sharp over something that those two had or a fight. He's involved in this massive welfare scandal in the state of Mississippi. The state paid him over $1 million in speaking fees, which was way exorbitant and not what that money was supposed to be used for. It was state money. Federal judge, or a state judge rather, ordered him to pay all that money back, which he still, from what the reports I've read, still has not done that. So he's just been kind of an idiot his entire career and post-career, and I think it's hurt his collectability a little bit because we all remember him on the playing field, and man, he was something to watch. And if nothing else, I'll give him credit for one of his most famous photographs, his draft day photo where he was rocking some badass jorts. That increases his collectability, in my opinion. This 6.0 does not. Let's move on quickly. That was a bust. Okay, next up. Okay, all right. So I can recognize these from the back cover a lot of times. I can tell you right now, this is my Kraken print. This is a big issue. Big issue. One of the top, if not the number one modern issue in the entire hobby. And I'll tell the story after I reveal the grade, but this is the Kraken press. So I had this. I bought this slabbed I'll go into the story in a minute. Let's take a look at the results here. Okay, that is very, very nice and exceeds my projection and is much better than the original grade. Okay, lot to talk about here. You know, obviously, LeBron James, first cover, February 18th, 2002. There are 47 at 9.8. There are 57 at 9.6, 50 at 9.4. So let's walk through this here. So I bought this slab years ago, long time ago. Got a great deal on it. It was graded at 8.0. I got it pretty cheap for an 8.0 even a couple of years ago. And I just kind of had it sitting around with all the other hundreds of slabs that I've got. And I was going through things recently and I was taking a look at this and I was like, this has clearly never been pressed. And this clearly has flaws that I think I can fix. So I cracked it out, pressed it real good, sent it back into CGC, took this from an 8.0 to a 9.2. That is a massive success. Any way you want to measure it. Very, very happy about this. But I am going to give you this caveat. Cracking, pressing, and regrading is not for the faint of heart. There is risk involved in that. For number one, I'm comfortable calling myself an expert in this. I've done a lot of this. I've done a lot of cracking and pressing. I evaluate magazines every single day. I press magazines every single day. I have a high ability to be able to look at something and sit here and say, yeah, I think I can do better. I think I can fix that. So that's number one. You've got to be really good at this to recognize it. Number two is CGC's grading is inconsistent. As every grading and collectible company, it has a certain degree of inconsistency. CGC's been really inconsistent lately, though, too. So keep that in mind. So even if you sit here and see something that's like, oh, those flaws can definitely be fixed in pressing, you may just catch a grader on a bad day. I've done it personally where I've sent issues in that the grades would come back exactly the same. Now, most of the time, I can get at the very least a little bump. Sometimes I get big bumps. This is a medium to big bump, pretty good. But I've actually seen instances where the grades can go down. So it's gambling. You've got to know that risk going in, but if you're comfortable with that risk, sometimes you can get some big rewards. Sometimes you can get stuck too and end up crying on the floor because you feel you got screwed on the deal, or you spent all this money cracking and pressing and regrading and the grade's the same, or it's worse. Just a word of caution. So keep that in mind. I'm doing more crack and press for my pressing customers than I ever have. I'm doing it more myself, but just be careful out there. So I love this. 8.0 to 9.2. I feel like I should hit the 9.8 button for this. I won't. But this is the kind that's like 9.8 level celebration. I also did a video on this, doing a deep dive into the before and after of the pressing process, showing the flaws, showing how I fixed them. You can go back about 2 months ago on my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and you can see the videos there if you want to take a deep dive into that. By the way, I'm going to brag for a minute because it's something I'm really proud of. There are 47 copies of this graded at 9.8. I think I currently own 2 of those. But I've done the math on this. I've pressed 17 of those 47 9.8s, and I did the math. That's 36%. So 36% of all the LeBron James first covers graded at 9.8 in existence, I've pressed. I thought that was kind of cool, kind of fun. All right, 2 left. I need a minute. I need just a minute. Give me a minute. Okay, because these both have a shot at 9.8. These both have a shot at 9.8, and these are both the little note things that I got back from CGC, where they gave me back my supporting documentation. So there's going to be a lot to check on this. Am I going to get a 9.8? Am I going to remember to hit the 9.8 button? What does the slab notes look like? Did they break out the variance if that's part of it? Okay. There are a couple pretty cool issues, too. Let's see what we got. I need it all. I need 9.8s, and I need correct slab labeling. There's 9.8. There's the 9.8. I remember the button, and it's happening right now. All right. That right there. Oh, geez, slab labeling. Everything's right. maybe all my complaining about CGC and their labeling is finally paying off, because crushed it on this. I mean, everybody complains about grades. I get it. That's not CGC's fault. They do as good a job as anybody at staying, as consistent as they can and as fair as they can on grading. Slab labeling is where I've got a legitimate gripe, and they crushed it on this one and did it. So two things. Well, let's talk about this. Okay. Karl Anthony Towns' first Sports Illustrated cover came out on March 16th, 2015. This is the first copy to be graded. Kind of surprised. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns he's not an A player in the NBA, but he's probably a B player. But I really got this graded because I'm a bit of a Kentucky basketball fan, and he tore it up in Kentucky. So Karl Anthony Towns, first cover. This is a very interesting variant, which, by the way, they got it correctly. And this is the Virginia Cavaliers variant. Very odd. I'll talk about that in a minute. But they also got the labeling too. Kentucky Wildcats, first, Karl Anthony Towns. It's actually the first cover for all of them. Karl Anthony Towns, Willie Cauley-Stein, and DeCarry Johnson. DeCarry Johnson. It was an odd variant. I haven't seen Sports Illustrated do this very often, if ever, on other covers. This part up here, they did three. This is a 1 of 3 variant. This part up here was the same on all the issues. It was this part down here that was different. And so while you've got Kentucky basketball up here, you've got the Virginia Cavaliers down here. They had 2 other teams, maybe North Carolina and Duke were the other 2. I can't quite remember, but there were a total of 3 different covers. This is the Virginia Cavaliers variant. I am thrilled with this. And I like I said, I'm interested because I'm a bit of a Kentucky basketball fan, but also Minnesota Timberwolves, sneaky good this year, had a decent run in the playoffs. We know Ant Edwards is, a spectacular young player. And so the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is where Karl Anthony Towns has played his whole career and is still there, definitely on the upswing. Love that 9.8. Karl Anthony Towns, first cover. Okay, now we need the next one. I told you I had 2 in here that had a shot at 9.8. Let's get... Have I ever had a double 9.8 button since the introduction of the 9.8 button? I don't know that I've ever had an unboxing video where I've gotten 2 9.8s in the same box. Let's do it right now. Let's do it right here, right now. I won't forget because I'm talking about it. Get my little remote ready. Okay. 9.8 on this would be awesome. Again, double it up. Double it up! Brand new issue, so not tough to get a 9.8. I shouldn't say that. Actually, I shouldn't say that. We'll talk about that a bit. Slam Magazine. This is Slam Magazine number 249, the New York Knicks variant. This was just out in April, May of 2024. There are now 2 at 9.8. There's a 9.6. There's 2 9.4s. Projected this and the last one at 9.6, but that's just because I don't project 9.8s anymore. 1 of 4 variant cover. Jimmy Butler was on the other one. Caitlin Clark, her first cover was the other one, and Anthony Edwards was on the 4th one. So, man, Knicks fans starting to feel like the 90s again for the Knicks fans. They got a great team. They're making deep runs into the playoffs. But if you can't pull off an NBA Finals win, I don't know that it matters a whole lot. So this is, and they did. Okay, good. Knicks variant. Wonderful. Fabulous. So this is Dante, Jalen Brunson, and Josh Hart on the cover here. I don't believe it. It's not the first Brunson cover. He's really their big star, and that was the only one I checked. So I wasn't sure if any of the other, it was their first cover, so I didn't make a slab, first cover slab label request on this one. But I love this one. I said, let's talk about Slam Magazine a little bit. I said that, shouldn't be too surprised that I got a 9.8 on this, because it's so new. It was just on newsstands a couple months ago. But man, do I have a love-hate relationship with Slam Magazine. I think their covers are so cool. I love how every single month they're doing variants. They don't do single cover distribution anymore. Always variants now, usually 4 or 5 different variants. I love the concept of their numbered issues, the Slam Metal series. The problem I have with Slam is their quality control is absolutely atrocious. It is terrible. Did I say that word right? Atrocious? Atrocious. It's just terrible. I don't care whether you buy them off the newsstand. I don't care if you order them from the Slam website. They show up everywhere, just beat to hell. I'm talking about permanent damage, massive corner crunches, ink coming off on the spine or on the front, huge finger bends. And part of the problem is Slam, both on these normal issues and the metal issues, use a thicker cardstock. And while that can be good in some ways, the problem with the thicker cardstock is if you do get a flaw, it is much more likely to be permanent because that thicker cardstock just holds that flaw, and you cannot loosen the fibers of that paper up no matter what you do and get it to press out. So I'm thrilled with this 9.8 Jalen Brunson New York Knicks Slam variant because Slam's quality control is so difficult. You're going to see some Slam metal issues in future unboxing videos. I hadn't bought a Slam metal issue in over 2 years because I was so frustrated. I used to buy them all the time when they first started doing them, and they just showed up just damaged as can be. And I thought, you know what? Slam's done a couple of things to improve their quality control in the shipping area. They used to just ship them in an envelope. No protection, no shrink wrap on the magazine, no nothing. They've done some things that are better. They're shrink wrapping them, they're giving some protection and shipping now. But it must be a printing press quality control problem because they're all still showing up with massive damage. So I bought a whole bunch of Slam metal magazines. Spoiler alert, they were all beat to hell. So you're going to see me really angry in a lot of upcoming unboxing videos, and we'll talk more about Slam and my love-hate relationship with them. It's such a cool publication. They got such great covers. They're doing so many things right, and their quality control is terrible. And I'm not sitting here being a snob and expecting, okay, every single one better be able to get a 9.8. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, especially with their Slam metal issues, I've purchased more than 20 of those, since I've been, messing around in this hobby the last 4, 5, 6 years. Or since Slam started doing metal issues, probably 3, 4 years ago. I've purchased over 20 of them. Never gotten a 9.8. Never a 9.8. That's not good. But this box has been good. And this 9.8 has been spectacular. Okay, great box. Regular unboxing videos every Monday, pressing unboxing videos every Thursday, so you can subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get an alert whenever I drop a new video. If you're interested in my comic and magazine pressing service, if you care about the grades, get your magazines pressed. And if you're interested in me pressing them for you, drop a comment. Find me on social media, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Same username is here, CGC Sports Illustrated. And I really can't thank you enough for watching. I really appreciate it. And we'll do it again soon. Thanks.